In your headlines, TCI mourns the 32nd COVID-19 related death. The TCI regiment are off to the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, for training. And the Caribbean Magazine Plus and Arawak Media are hosting yet another regional contest. From the PTV Broadcasting Headquarters in Providenciales, your number one source for news, I'm Erica Pinales, delivering the latest from across the country this Thursday, January 20th, 2022, right to your door. Newswatch starts now. In today's top story, the TCI is in mourning once again as we receive the tragic news of the 32nd COVID-19 related death. From a press release published by the TCI Health Promotions and Advocacy, we've gathered that on Tuesday, January 18th, 2022, the public health team in Grand Turk responded to an emergency call in the community. The individual was in quarantine with a history of symptoms known to have underlying medical conditions and was unvaccinated against COVID-19. Said press release reads that, quote, "A sample which was recently processed at the National Public Health Laboratory returned as being positive. Immediate relatives have been notified. This COVID-19 related death will be reflected on today's dashboard. The thoughts and prayers of the Ministry of Health are with the family and friends of this individual," end quote. As this is all the information on the tragedy Newswatch has, the Ministry of Health wishes to remind the general public to practice the relevant public health measures in order to prevent the spread of COVID-19 throughout the TCI and to strongly consider taking the COVID-19 vaccine, which is available on all islands through all healthcare facilities at no cost to eligible residents above the age of 12 years. Persons who are eligible to receive the booster or third dose of the vaccine 3 months after the second dose is administered are encouraged to contact their healthcare provider to receive it. Number 1, wash their hands frequently with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. 2, use alcohol-based hand sanitizer if soap and water are not available. 3, maintain social distancing of 6 feet between persons. 4, wear face coverings in public settings, covering both nose and mouth. 5, avoid mass gatherings or crowds. 6, cover your coughs and sneezes with your elbow or use disposable tissues. 7, comply with public health measures. 8, stay home where possible. 9, if you have symptoms of COVID-19 which include cough, sore throat, runny nose, shortness of breath, fever, diarrhea. 10, if you have symptoms or signs of COVID-19, only leave your residence to get tested at a healthcare facility. 11, if your symptoms are severe, please call 911. 12, if you're under quarantine by the public health team, please remain at home and comply with the guidance provided to you. 13, if you're contacted by the public health team as a part of contact tracing activities, please provide all of the information requested to assist them in their investigations. 14, refrain from speculation and spreading rumors. 15, stay informed with the latest information from the Ministry of Health by visiting our website on https://www.gov.tc. 16, consult with your healthcare provider regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. And 17, if you're eligible for the booster, please contact your healthcare provider to receive it. 3 more Marines with the TCI regiment are off to the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, for training. Take a look.
Marines Earl Henry Francis and Jaheim Clinton, along with Officer Cadet Dixie Smith, are off to the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, this month for additional training. Francis and Clinton leave for the United Kingdom next Tuesday, January 25th, while Smith takes off this Sunday, January 23rd. Commanding Officer of the TCI Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Enos Grant, says he is confident his ranks will perform exceptionally well. He says these are young people with tremendous potential, as they have displayed extraordinary leadership skills since being recruited. The commanding officer has urged the Marines to make the best use of the 10-week course, which will see them undergoing both academic and physical training. Smith was picked by the Promotion Selection Board last year, while Francis and Clinton were selected for Sandhurst because of their outstanding performance during the recruitment training. Earlier this week, the three were hosted by His Excellency Governor Nigel Lakin and his wife Amanda at their home. Posted to his Instagram page, the governor wished the trio well in the coming months, saying This is one of the best leadership courses in the world, if not the best. He says the three are already role models, and he is convinced they will uphold the Sandhurst motto of serve to lead, as they have already been determined to serve the Turks and Caicos Islands. They arrive at Sandhurst having accrued in a short space of time military muscle memory they can draw down on, and having received their basic training from the household cavalry, they have already notched up operational experience. End quote. These experiences, he recounts, include deploying with the TCI Marine Police at sea, deploying in support of counter-irregular migration operations on beaches, including detentions prior to the arrival of a police and immigration task force, training with the Royal Navy and the Royal Marines on hurricane response, and supporting the Ministry of Health during the COVID spike. Meanwhile, here on island, there is additional support coming this year for the regiment. The governor says the regiment will receive 2 fast boats, the beginnings of a bespoke vehicle fleet, and the generation of a non-commissioned officer cadre through training in the United States with the Bermuda Regiment. They will also get overseas operational development training and additional Marines. For PTV News Watch, I'm Delana Isles.
It's time for a quick break. More News Watch when we return.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Welcome back to News Watch. Mia Mottley wins big again in Barbados, sweeping all 30 of the country's parliamentary seats. More in this report.
Mia Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados, has won a second term as leader of the Caribbean nation following general elections this week. Mottley's party, the BLP, won all 30 seats, up from 29 in 2018, in an election marred by complaints that thousands of COVID-positive Bajans were denied a vote. An 11th-hour attempt to stop the poll failed on Tuesday night, when the country's High Court ruled that it had no jurisdiction to postpone the election, which took place amid rising Omicron cases. Philip Catlin, the opposition candidate who brought the case, had argued that 5,600 people in isolation were disenfranchised after they were banned from going to polling stations to cast their votes. But as voting got on the way on Wednesday, the Bajan government announced measures to ensure that those infected with COVID could vote in the country's snap general election later this month. Huge crowds celebrated into the early hours of Thursday outside the BLP's headquarters in Bridgeton, after Barbados' midnight curfew was lifted for the night. This is her second straight landslide, and Prime Minister Mottley has promised to uphold the values of Errol Barrow, the first post-independence Prime Minister of Barbados, who said the country would be a friend of all and a satellite of none. Mottley came to international attention last year when she castigated global leaders at the COP26, and her government then jettisoned the Queen as head of state, installing the singer Rihanna as an official national hero at the same time. The main opposition, the Democratic Labour Party, which ruled Barbados between 2008 and 2018, campaigned against the BLP's one-party state. However, the voters were not convinced, and Barbados will have no official opposition for the next 5 years. For PTV News Watch, I'm Delana Isles.
In this next story, the Caribbean Magazine Plus and Arawak Media is bridging the gap between the Caribbean and Central America with yet another regional contest. The Caribbean Magazine Plus and Arawak Media is embarking on yet another regional contest, bridging the gap between the Caribbean and Central American countries in this inaugural Speech Contest 2022. They're bringing people together across the region in healthy and wholesome activity. The CMP Speech Contest 2022 will be coordinated in conjunction with the lead evaluators District 81 Caribbean Toastmasters, and part of the proceeds from the event will go towards their membership drive initiatives and other charitable endeavors. The contest will be held over a period of 3 months from January 18th to April 15th, 2022. Orators are invited to submit their 5 to 10 minute speech on Caribbean Magazine Plus at www.caribmagplus.com. Contestants will be allowed to submit their video submissions in any of the 4 languages, English, Spanish, French, and/or Dutch, and a panel of experienced Toastmasters will evaluate their speech on the merit of their command of one of the 4 languages. Submissions will be accepted by Google Drive, Dropbox link, submitted on a Word document along with the text of the speech. Don't touch that remote, we'll be right back. Coming up next is your weather forecast. Sister Craft Market Souvenir Shop. Come and visit us for your travel keepsakes, keychains, artwork, t-shirts, clothing, jewelry, and many more. We're located at the Lower Bight gas station in Providenciales, and you can contact us at 649-341-3070. That's 649-341-3070. Sister Craft Market and Souvenir Shop.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Welcome back to News Watch. Here's the latest in your weather forecast. Here's your weather forecast for January 21st, 2022. For the nation's capital, Grand Turk, on Friday, mostly sunny skies, high 81, low 75, winds east-southeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. For South Caicos on Friday, mostly sunny skies, high 81, low 75, winds east-southeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. For North and Middle Caicos on Friday, mostly sunny skies, high 82, low 75, winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. For Parrot and Pine Key on Friday, mostly sunny skies, high 81, low 75, winds east-southeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. And on Providenciales on Friday, mostly sunny skies, high 81, low 75, winds east-southeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. And for your sunrise and sunset, sunrise 6:30 a.m., sunset 5:32 p.m. Now for your high tides and low tides, high tides 9:36 a.m., 10 p.m., and low tides 3:21 a.m., 3:52 p.m. And that's it for your weather forecast. We'll be right back with more News Watch.
Here at People's Television, we're more than just your leading news and entertainment services. We are
spreading the gospel.
We are breaking barriers.
We are preserving the culture. Each one, teach one.
We are committed to excellence.
We're creating change.
We are creating memories.
We are the future.
I am PTV.
I am PTV. I am PTV.
I am PTV.
We are PTV.
We are continuing the legacy. We are PTV.
Welcome back to Newswatch. This story has so much valid information that we thought we'd run it again just in case you missed it.
The current youth policy that we have, the title for that is Co-Creating Sustainable Futures for Turks and Caicos Islands. And that is important because we want to take the policy and youth development to a sustainable level for all youth in Turks and Caicos Islands. With that youth policy, we have 7 key pillars, and each of that key pillar, it speaks about different social issues that the youth want the Department of Youth to focus on for the next 5 years.
The Department of Youth Affairs is capitalizing on next week's lineup of events to gently introduce and publicize their youth policy. The document required extensive research and feedback, says the Director of Youth Affairs, Jasmine Thomas.
That current youth policy was part of collaborations with many youth organizations in Turks and Caicos Islands, and we had an extensive survey where the young people told us what were important to them. This current youth policy takes the shape of a rights-based policy, which basically says as a young person, you have a right to education, you have a right to employment, you have the right to a sustainable future.
The 7 pillars cover a lot of things that will empower and inform youth in the TCI.
One of the pillars speaks about economic empowerment. So you would find there's a whole section on economic empowerment and what the youth want. For instance, within economic empowerment, you will find that a lot of the young person says they don't know the procurement processes for government. Therefore, us at the Department of Youth wants to sit down and figure out, okay, how can we make the youth knowledgeable about the procurement process in government in order for them as young entrepreneurs to bid for different contracts that the government have. So us at Youth Department are looking at ways to ensure our youth are sustainable and are in a way that they will be geared for the future.
She elaborates on the societal aspects of the policy and matters that the younger generation values.
Also, the policy talks about cultural development and how we can enhance culture and TCI. Also, we speak about youth participation and gender equality. We want to ensure that youth, every board that's in government or in the country in general, is gender balanced, because we know now that a lot of persons are talking about feminism and young people, but females in general to be representative in a lot of these organizations. Therefore, we at the Department of Youth will have to sit down and say, okay, how can we get the youth involved?
And speaking of keeping the youth involved, she touched on one of her favorite parts of the policy.
One of my favorite topics that are in the youth policy speaks about youth mainstreaming. What is youth mainstreaming? Essentially, we want youth to be represented every and anywhere in Turks and Caicos Islands. So for instance, let's just say, for instance, the education board. We want a youth represented on that board, or even an environmental board. We want a young person represented on that board. Even in parliamentary processes, we want young people to be involved in those processes, and also building policy. So we want a lot of our policies that the government come up with to be youth-centric, to have a youth component of it. Therefore, we really, over the next 5 years, will have to sit down and say, okay, we want our youth to be mainstreamed into development of Turks and Caicos Islands.
The document also touches on the process of democracy and driving home more youth involvement all around. Reporting for BTV News Watch, I'm Ali Carvey.
That brings us to the end of this edition of The Real News. I hate to leave you so soon, but of course, you can join us right back here every weekday at 6:30 p.m. and tap into our social media platforms at www.ptv8tci.com. I'm Erica Penales, keeping you informed, updated, and affiliated. Until next time.